This is Miss Steele's Precalculus, Section 7.1, Day 2 notes. This is Part 2 of the notes, so we are finishing up on Example 6. Example 6, we have cosine of u divided by 1 minus sine of u equals secant of u plus tangent of u. Since both secant and tangent have cosine in the denominator, we need to introduce something that makes cosine on the bottom, or on the denominator. So looking at the right or the left-hand side, if we multiplied by the conjugate of 1 minus sine of u, so if we multiply by 1 plus sine of u in the numerator and denominator, so this looks like cosine of u divided by 1 minus sine of u. We multiply the numerator and denominator by 1 plus sine of u divided by 1 plus sine of u. On top, we are going to be distributing. And in the denominator, we will be FOILing. So if we distribute the cosine of u to both the 1 and the sine of u, we are left with cosine of u plus cosine of u sine of u. And in the denominator, we are just left with 1 minus sine squared of u. We know using a Pythagorean identity that 1 minus sine squared of u is the same thing as cosine squared of u. So we can rewrite this as cosine of u plus cosine of u sine of u divided by cosine squared of u. And our next step will be to split up our fraction. So we will have cosine of u over cosine squared of u, and we will have cosine of u sine of u divided by cosine squared of u. So this ends up looking like cosine of u divided by cosine squared of u plus cosine of u sine of u divided by cosine squared of u. Now let's think about what can cancel off. We have a cosine on top and a cosine squared on the bottom. The cosine and the squared will cancel, and we are just left with 1 divided by cosine of u plus, and then if we have cosine of u sine of u divided by cosine squared of u, again, that cosine on top and the squared will cancel, and we are left with sine of u divided by cosine of u. Using those reciprocal identities, we can rewrite 1 over cosine of u as secant of u, and we can rewrite sine of u over cosine of u as tangent of u. And then looking back at the original problem, you're trying to get secant of u plus tangent of u, which is what we ended up getting. So this work really isn't difficult, it's just more tedious. And as you complete more problems, the processes will become easier and easier to verify that two sides of an equation are equivalent to each other. If you have any questions, please bring them tomorrow. And the homework for tonight, or for tomorrow, if you guys wanted to get a head start, is on page 533, numbers 26, 30, 34, 38, 46, and 50. And again on page 533, we have numbers 54, 58, 62, 74, 82, and 86.